Welcome back, everybody. We got a special one today. As you're probably thinking right off the bat, yes, that is an R32 GTR right-hand drive, the whole shebang. It's authentic. We are going to be doing some cool stuff for the bottom end on this today. So, as you can see here, we have the RB26 bottom end. This is something that we had put together this last summer. Kind of dabbling in this in our spare time here. Did pistons, rods. We did brand new crank. We did a bunch of PRP products, Platinum Racing products, oil pump, water pump, thermostat. I mean, everything is getting replaced. Every nut, every bolt, every washer. So this is going to be something that we're going to be following up on at this time. So stay tuned for a couple videos on this in the near future. So today we're going to be focusing on installing an oil restrictor on the bottom end. And that oil restrictor is right here. This is the factory oil restrictor that comes inside of the RB26. And the reason why we want to go ahead and swap that restrictor out for this particular restrictor we're using from Platinum Racing Products is because we have an upgraded oil pump. We're going to be doing some other things to kind of bump up the oil pressure in this thing, because RBs allegedly they survive better on better oil pressure. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff here to kind of raise the oil pressure significantly, and because of an extra boost in oil pressure, we would want to kind of keep that under control. And restricting this will also kind of help with that oil pressure, maintaining that oil pressure as well. Other shops might recommend something other than a 1.1, but from the research that actually Andy had done for his own engine, the 1.1 millimeter restrictor is the go-to for the application that we're working with here, what he plans to do with the setup. So we're going to be going ahead and showing you how to put in a 1.1 millimeter PRP oil restrictor. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to take the factory oil restrictor, take a punch of an appropriate size, not too big, so you don't want to score up or nick this galley here, but not too small. And we just kind of get an appropriate size and just tap this sucker down a little bit. Now we're going to want to push this down just enough that we can get a decent depth on this PRP restrictor here. And I don't know if you can see it too well, but the depth of this galley goes pretty far in there. So typically, if I was so worried about it, what I would do is just take a digital caliper and measure out the actual length of the oil restrictor we're putting in, and then I would compensate maybe a couple millimeters and lower that restrictor far enough to do it like that. So what I mean by that is I would zero out my caliper here. I would take my restrictor and measure. So that's a 5 millimeter restrictor length. And you take the back side here and you would measure your depth. So we pounded the factory restrictor in about 7.21 millimeter. So that gives us a good amount of depth to work with and get this restrictor in. Now, one thing to recognize here is that it does have a doweled side. I don't know if you can see that too well, but one of these corners is doweled, or sorry, one of these sides. So we're going to put the dowel side in first and then tap it in. There, that's about perfect. I'd say that's where the factory restrictor had set, just below the ridge here. So we should be good with that. Now that we got the restrictor plug in the RB26, we went ahead and we started putting the head on. So we started putting the head gasket on and all that stuff, which I'll show here in a second. But we had to wrap it because something came up with the head. We had it machined over, resurfaced, and we ended up finding a deep scratch leading from the combustion chamber to the edge of the head. So that would have caused leaks. Combustion leaks would have really caused some serious issues. So sent it back to the machine shop. It's not the same machine shop that I usually go through. It's from a different one farther south. So unfortunately we had to deal with that, but we're good now. Andy should be bringing the head by here shortly, and then I can get rolling on some clips of the RB26 under the plastic there and get that all good. Andy bears presents. Honda makes 6-cylinder heads now, huh? Nice. Hi, Ryan.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Like, literally, the video does not do justice. Oh.
Even now on the video, it's like a blue hue.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, I think
I
it was
see
like
it.
a hint of green when I saw it. But,
You know what's crazy?
so cute. This is sick.
Yeah, look, watch. If you come into the engine bay, dude.
Yep. Fully erect. This is so good.
Yeah, I had a half chub.
Only a half.
Is that Japanese for something?
No.
Australian. It's Australian for something, huh?
It's Australian for really good shit. Got their valve cover baffles too.
Aussies, man. They know what's going on.
Aussies know what's going on.
So pretty.
That's not an RB. This is an RB.
RB power. Now, if you're gonna drop it, make sure you drop it right on the floor. It's his baby.
Yeah.
So let me get my side lined up. There we go.
Bring it down. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god, he said.
How you feeling right now, Andy?
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh God. He's tearing up over there, dude. So one thing I forgot to do before we put the head on is put some A or P assembly lubricant on the top side threads for like the nut and the washer. But I do that a lot. So what I typically do is I just put some on the inside of the nut all the way around, just kind of really goober in there a little bit. And for the washers, I just put a little bit of assembly lubricant on the front side and the back side of the washer. That way it's got some lubrication and doesn't want to bind up on the washer when you torque it down from the bottom side of the nut or the top side of the surface of the head down in that crevice there you could see. we got the camshaft installed. Everything's lubricated, and yes, we did throw some of that Kelford assembly lube on the insides of the caps. My phone was dying, so I put it on the charger. Didn't get all that. Went ahead and had Andy tape off the ports, because with the camshaft in, we do have a couple valves open right there. So I gotta go through the manual and make sure this camshaft is 100% on top dead center. But since cylinder 1 and cylinder 6 are off, the valves are sealed, I'm pretty sure that this is top dead, but I'll just double check on that. We still gotta throw the intake cam in. After that cam's in and installed, we'll go ahead and tape off this side here, and then probably start throwing the seals in, the cam gears, the timing kit, and then make sure this thing rotates real good, real nice. Great, so I had Andy look it up, and sure enough, I have it right, but I have it wrong. So these knock pins, these need to be out here. So they need to be facing outwards. These lobes need to be this way, not this way, but this way. So they need to be facing away from each other. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just back off the crank just a little bit if we need to. I'm gonna try to spin this over right here. You can see little spots for a crescent or something, and if it makes contact, like the valves hit the piston or something, I'm gonna do it slowly. Then we'll just back the crank up a little bit, so the piston travels down a little ways, and then that'll allow us to move the camshafts where we need to them, if we need to do it like that. And then matter of fact, that makes sense too, because if you look, you can see these little cutouts on the camshaft, and they should be over here probably, so that way you can access that head stud nut. So since it's over here, it doesn't really do us any good. Probably rotating this over will travel that relief to right here. So yep, other than that, we're looking real good. Everything's lubricated, everything's super clean. Lucas is busting knuckles under there, and he's vaping because he's stressed out.
Defiant. Defiant. Team. Defiant.
So that'll pretty much wrap up that one there. We did a good amount of the work on this thing. I'm gonna leave this as a part 1. Otherwise this will be like an hour-long video. So with that being said, stay tuned for part 2. And I think on the part 2 here, we're gonna go ahead and fast forward a good amount of this stuff and do a little less detail in the progress, just to kind of shorten up the videos a little bit and maybe keep you guys a little more engaged in the video. So based off the view time and all this stuff, it doesn't seem like the more informational, detailed videos I put out, a lot of people are clicking through it, is what I'm getting at. So with that being said, I think I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit and just kind of do something to keep you guys a little more engaged. You know, this is new to me, new to us, so we're going to just keep trying to change some things up and just see what engages you guys the best. So with that being said, stay tuned for part 2, and we got some more videos on the way for the new project car, as well as the Dirty Dan, and some other cool things as well. So until next time, like, subscribe, and comment. As always, thank you very much.